Hello dear listeners, TW here. Nate and I are back to talk superheroes once more with the upcoming Spider-Man film Brand New Day. We have this sub-series of focusing on a particular superhero and seeing how it changes over time. See how you enjoyed this one. Spoilers ahead. Hello Nate, welcome back.
Thank you for having me yet again.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a run going on at the moment, don't we?
Stacking them up. Never leave.
That's right, yeah. This will be, not that this matters at all to our listeners, but this will be our last time in this room.
Yeah.
If anyone's paying enough attention where they recognise the rooms based on sound quality and background noise. Oh, that room's gone.
Oh, the room tone. We got a classroom on, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, I've never found the ideal place because thankfully the traffic slowed down a little bit, but
yeah,
I'm yet to find a soundproof room. But anyway,
no, we lead such busy lives, and we're so in demand.
Yeah, that's it. That sounded good.
There's always crowds at the door. Doesn't matter where you go.
That's why we got the door locked. Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
Spider-Man.
Yes. We just finished.
He does whatever a spider can.
He sure does.
Yeah.
We just finished talking about Superman because there's a Supergirl film coming out.
Yeah.
And there's also a Spider-Man film coming out. And we've had this sub-series going of, we had the Alien and Predator franchises, but we've also doing, superhero franchises.
Yeah. It is a sub-series of just these. There are three superheroes, I think, that get like routine cinematic treatment. And we've spoken about Superman. We're going to talk about Spider-Man today. I think Batman's the other one, and we might talk about that eventually, but it's maybe...
I'm definitely keen to do that, but we'll put that on the back burner for now.
Yeah, we've got enough going on.
There's plenty going on. Yeah, I know, because there is another Batman movie coming out at some point.
Ain't there always, though?
Yeah, that's right. We're in a constant state of Batman anticipation ever since 1989, basically.
Yeah.
So, Spider-Man. Before we get into the nitty-gritty... let's talk our own personal experiences.
Oh, yeah.
What's your... I'm guessing by your age, and you got just enough specks of grey in your beard, you saw the animated series from the 90s, perhaps?
Yeah, I did see it, and...
was that your introduction to the character?
Yeah. Yes. No, actually, no. My introduction to the character was when I was a little kid, say maybe... 6 or 7.
Sorry.
I hate myself so much.
You could leave now.
When I was a little kid of about 6 or 7 years old,
yes,
staying at the Gold Coast with my aunt and uncle, and he took us down to a secondhand store or a thrift shop where they had secondhand books, and I picked up a Spider-Man comic anthology thing with a holographic cover. I only bought it because it had a holographic cover.
Right.
But I loved it. I loved it so much. Loved the artwork. It had, I think it was a Mysterio story in there. And so he was my favorite villain. I loved that idea of like
the illusion.
Yeah, the illusions and all that sort of stuff. So that was my first exposure to Spider-Man. It didn't get me to read any more comics. I just loved that one. And then I
gave you the awareness of the character.
Yeah, that's how I knew Peter Parker. I knew Mary Jane. I knew, I think I knew some of the villains at that point because there was a Sinister Six arc in that book as well.
Oh, right. That was a good one to pick up then.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, as I said, I held on to it for a long time as well. Didn't pick up any more Spider-Man comics, and then when the cartoon renaissance of the 90s happened, I was just X-Men and Batman. Those were the two
90s were really good for, I would say, for films, hit and miss, but the TV,
those cartoons.
X-Men, Spider-Man of the, I guess, mid-90s.
Yeah.
And Batman, the animated series, I think was slightly predated them, but anyway, they're all contemporaries. They all overlap. It was a really good time for cartoons.
Batman, the animated series, it still is very, very good. The way that's drawn and lit and all, it's pretty special. But X-Men was great as well, and the way it's serialized, its storytelling was groundbreaking to me as a little kid.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I need to watch the next episode because I had such a crush on Rogue.
Oh, yeah.
And so anytime Rogue was like in danger, I wouldn't tell anybody that's why I wanted to watch. But like, I had stakes. I needed to know she was going to be there still.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, Spider-Man I liked, but it wasn't one I made time to watch because it was never as interesting, I thought, as the other two.
Yeah.
Batman I was interested in because I loved the villains in Batman. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
And X-Men is because it was serialized.
And an ensemble as well. So
yeah,
you kind of, I mean, it seems like we're not as special as we realize. I remember reading a sort of whimsical article years ago. It said everybody's favorite X-Men characters are the same. Number 1, Wolverine. Number 2, Wolverine. Number 3, Nightcrawler. Number 4, Wolverine. And I went, oh yeah, pretty much. So
yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's being
favorite
facetious, of
my
course.
favorite X-Man is Cyclops. That's 'cause
Oh, what?
yeah, I went through when I was a little kid, I was such a people pleaser and a nerd, and I always wanted to be the leader. And so my favorite Ninja Turtle is Leonardo. My favorite X-Man is Cyclops.
Wow, you're one of the outliers then.
Yeah, but then when I was like in my teens, I discovered like punk rock and how like it's fun to be cool. I was like, oh no, I don't want to be the leader necessarily.
No.
But like when you're a kid, you just want to be the good one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, just it's funny. I would have said the animated series was where I got into it, but just when you said, "Oh, a little kid getting a book," I remember having an action figure that was magnetized. So for some reason, you could take his arms and legs off. I don't know why.
Oh, Spider-Man can't do that.
Yeah. I'm perplexed, but it was a very well-made, solid toy, and yeah, you could. So it's very opposable. I think that was the point.
Yeah.
But then why make it removable? Anyway, so I remember being aware of it. I remember seeing some of the old cartoon, the really crummy one that you see memes about these days.
Oh, is that there is a cartoon where they did like the mouth. Is that Spider-Man one?
Not sure. There's one
the superimposed speaking mouth.
Not sure, but there's definitely one where you see Spider-Man pointing at another Spider-Man. That's just
the meme.
Right,
yeah. So there's the 3 Spider-Mans.
Yes, so I've seen that.
Yeah.
The old Incredible Hulk and the old Fantastic Four, the ones from the 70s where the characters hardly move because the animation budgets were so low.
Yeah.
So I'm old enough to remember those, but I'm young enough to know that they were crappy at the time because they were, at that stage, I don't know, 10 or 15 years old or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea that, I mean, I always kind of liked Spider-Man, but I guess just because of the cartoon and so on, I didn't realize there was such a long legacy, but a very quick background, because we're going to focus on the live-action films of, starting with the Sam Raimi ones, but we'll mention a little bit on either side.
Yeah.
But the
we got parameters for this one because we meander. We already have meandered.
Yes.
We are talking live-action Spider-Man.
Yes.
There are 2 Spider-Verse movies at the time of talking. They're really good. Well, one's really good. The other one is fine.
We'll mention those briefly.
And there's other spider-related things. There's spin-offs and all that sort of stuff, which I don't...
I think we'll just mention them briefly as little speed bumps.
Part of a larger story that I think we both agree on is what's happened with Spider-Man and continues to happen with Spider-Man.
Yeah, which means we don't need to talk about those films specifically.
Yeah.
So, no, that's good.
These are... We're turning the electric fences on so that we don't need to brush up against them later on.
Yeah, we don't need to spend half an hour talking about Madam Web. No, because that's about how long they spent putting the script together. There we go.
That's being very generous.
That's all we had to say about that. So apparently there was a film back in the 70s, which you said you've seen a little bit of.
I remember seeing bits of it when it was on TV. And
it was a TV movie. It was
and it's what you'd expect from the 70s. It's a person climbing up buildings and stuff like that, and obviously with harnesses and ropes, and so it's nowhere near as impressive as it would be in the 90s when it was done using a lot of practical effects in retrospect, but it looks hokey.
It does, and there's also a Japanese version which is hokey and also slightly insane.
That sounds right.
From about the same time.
You tell me something that came out of Japan. It's a little bit hokey and insane.
Yeah, I know. What a revelation.
Nuts.
Yeah. And then the rights went back and forth. I didn't realize that you had people like Roger Corman potentially getting involved. I mean, that would have been not good.
No.
And so as in the 80s, Canon bought the rights famously, and when they bought the rights to make Superman 4, which we mentioned previously.
We talked about that one.
Yeah, so they were going to make that, Masters of the Universe, and Spider-Man. And they spent apparently about $2 million on the Spider-Man film that never eventuated. And they ultimately halved the budget on Superman 4 before it even started.
Yeah.
and then Masters of the Universe, they actually had to stop production partway through until they could scrounge money to finish it, which is why the ending of that looks incredibly rushed.
Yeah.
Well, and so does half the rest of the film. But anyway, so Spider-Man ultimately never got made. James Cameron famously came on board. There was one operation. Toby Hooper was going to be directing at one point.
Yeah.
That was before James Cameron. So it's been this right schmozzle. And Sony, I didn't realize Sony did not get the rights until the late 90s.
Yep.
So they have this shared thing with, it's Marvel ultimately, but it's Sony
because
Pictures has the rights.
Spider-Man as an intellectual property is a Marvel thing. Stanley
Yes.
and it's Stanley and this is terrible. I've forgotten the co-creator's name.
Look it up for posterity.
Yeah,
People other than Stan Lee should get probably.
But it's a Marvel creation. I'll keep talking while you're
Sure.
But I found this out years and years ago. In terms of who the most profitable superhero is as a marketing tool,
Yes.
it's Spider-Man, and it's not even close. Spider-Man wins by like an order of magnitude.
Yeah.
He makes money.
Yeah, and the entire franchises plural collectively is worth over 11 billion.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that even when we'll get up to the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is an interesting pivot point in the character, but the fact that they capitulated and said let's reboot again is interesting because the things around it, like toys and comics and cartoon rights and all this, are worth so much money that even if a film underperforms, you're fine.
Yeah.
So it's strange that they pivoted. The name is Steve Ditko.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, I forgot that was him. I'm familiar with him, but I'd forgotten he was Spider-Man. So I was also a bit lost there.
So, and that is why Spider-Man, like the Marvel properties that we know as like the Avengers now, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Incredible Hulk, slightly different, but they are not inherently profitable. And that's why Marvel
they only work together collectively.
Well, they work separately, but they weren't a proven thing in 2008 when Marvel started making their own movies.
No.
And so, but Spider-Man, those along with Fantastic Four and Hulk, those properties belonged to other studios. They had been sold off previously, and they've subsequently been bought back. Or in the case of the Hulk, they're back with like an asterisk next to it, being like, you can make a Hulk movie, but you can't call it a Hulk movie, and Hulk can star in other people's stuff.
Hence why the Hulk has not had his own film since the Incredible Hulk with Norton 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was a Universal finance.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So,
and then, of course, there was the Ang Lee film with Eric Bana before that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? And that's probably why the new Spider-Man film has the Incredible Hulk in it, because Bruce Banner's in it. Anyway,
yeah, and I think that's this era of Spider-Man. That's kind of what they're doing. These are Marvel movies, but Sony gets to make money off the merchandising and stuff like that, which it's still very much worth their while, and it's paying off. Whether we think they're good movies, and I think you and I are slightly differing in opinion.
Yeah.
This current iteration of Spider-Man movies, critically successful, financially very successful.
Yeah. Very big business.
Yeah, I think there's some rot setting in, but we'll talk about that. Let's go back to
back when Spider-Man films were actually Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi takes over, and what I love, just for a little bit of context here, is Sam Raimi was an alternative horror weirdo, much like Peter Jackson.
Yeah, very similar to Peter Jackson.
And I love, so at the same time, literally the same time, Peter Jackson, the horror weirdo from New Zealand, and Sam Raimi, of course, most famously known at that point for Evil Dead, but he'd made quite a few others.
Darkman as well, which is a superhero movie.
Because he couldn't get the rights to another movie, so he made his own. I think is the story there.
That sounds right.
So, at the same time, these two weirdos, I say that affectionately, get these films with, up to a point, which we'll get to, a lot of creative control.
Yeah, and a pretty large budget.
Yeah, for the time. Quite big, actually.
And there's seemingly no expectation that they rein in their directorial style. There is still very typical Sam Raimi flourishes in Spider-Man. There are still
Especially Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
very typical flourish. Like Peter Jackson flourishes in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yep.
Those are still those directors' movies. They're not paycheck jobs.
No, they're not studio films. They are technically, but they're not studio films like they are today.
Yeah.
For example.
I hate to say, I don't know. It's too
You
late.
hesitate to say?
I don't think that would happen today. I mean, it obviously does. James Gunn gets to make James Gunn movies with a big budget.
I think he's the exception, though.
I think he's the exception as well.
Because the other ones, what we get now instead is things like Sinners.
Yes.
Or Project Hail Mary and things like that, where you get these standalone things. But when you're attached to a franchise now, you're reined in.
We do not want you to take risks that might undermine the health of our intellectual property.
And that might coincide with Disney taking over these franchises, possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
It's not just them, to be fair.
No. I think it also...
I think you can... Sorry.
I was just going to... It is a lot of just like the health of the franchise is seen as so much more important than the quality of the film.
Yeah, because initially I think it was really a case of let's build a good film.
Yeah.
And then you had companies spending insane amounts of money on rights. So they go, well, we got to preserve the right. This is an asset and we've got to, and so on and so forth. When I just want to take us back to 2001, when they were leading up to the release of the first Spider-Man film. So the teaser trailers came out famously before 9/11. So you have that teaser where you see, you see the Twin Towers connected with spiderwebs, and they took that ad down real quick.
Yeah, why? What happened?
Nothing much.
Don't worry about it.
Just a seismic shift in culture and geopolitics.
There's a couple of things like there's a poster as well. I think at the same time, the Strokes had to take their song "New York City Cops" off their American.
Really?
New York City Cops ain't that smart.
Right. So I had that song, so it must have. Was it outside? America?
Outside the US.
Right. There you go.
So a lot of things just got.
The band She Had to change their name to Pacifier.
Yes.
Because She Had sounds like Jihad.
It does. I mean, other people have said it. I'll agree. 9/11 changed the world in a lot of significant ways.
And we'll call that the understatement for today's episode. But that's important context. You know, this was an odd time. So you could have a response like, I don't know, Christopher Nolan making dark and gritty Batman movies.
Yeah.
But instead, Spider-Man, they stayed the course. And it is still a very optimistic, colourful, very Christopher Reeve, Superman-esque.
It is very, as you say, it's bright, colourful. I would say it's very, in moments, patriotic.
Mm-hmm.
It's very American. It's very, it loves New York.
Because of course he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man from Queens, so he hangs out in New York.
It's as becomes like maybe stereotypical in Spider-Man stories. The people of New York rally around him and look after him because he's their favorite son. Yeah,
Raimi really cemented that in these films.
But it's a very good movie.
It's a standout. I remember it being so significant because my friends came to see it. And when they came out, one of them was trying to climb the wall.
Yeah.
Because of that scene where he's climbing the wall before he's got the suit on.
Yeah.
That's a kind of immersion and you're absorbed into the world. It was massive. The first Spider-Man film was an immediate smash.
Yep.
Hit.
It's a big Tobey Maguire, who is Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Those are the same people. Spoilers. He was a moderate celebrity beforehand. I think he had done some stuff. Cider House Rules, I think, was his big, and I think he might have been nominated for an Academy Award for it. He got around with Leonardo DiCaprio. They were part of a crew of young boys who would tear things up in Hollywood, from all reports. He was a young actor showing a lot of promise. He's a pretty good Peter Parker. He's a pretty good Spider-Man. He's very dorky.
Yeah.
He's got a great pubescent voice.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst had been around for a while.
Yeah, she was probably the bigger name.
Aside from Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe would, surely by that, he easily would have been the big name.
He's a brilliant Norman Osborn Green Goblin. He's the standout performance in that film, he is chewing the scenery.
Although J.K. Simmons as
Oh, he's always. Hey, did you know he's the voice of the yellow M&M?
oh, you just blew my brain. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, now that you say that, I sort of go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Wow, okay.
Yeah, unless
My worlds collide.
if I'm wrong, correct me. But I've had that
Okay, I mean, it
nugget
matches.
of knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah. You know, the fellow who does the red M&M is the same one who
it's
does
Fry.
Fry and Ren from Ren and Stimpy. And,
Yeah. He's Billy West.
Yeah,
Billy West is so good.
Who's done all of the voices in every show ever, basically.
He can. It's on a director's commentary for Futurama. Pardon me. He can impersonate Paris Hilton in a jar without needing to cover up his mouth.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There was a lot of extra information there.
Yeah.
I'll process that later. Okay, so yellow M&M and Paris Hilton in a jar. Got it.
I had a similar experience. I think Spider-Man came out. It must have been when I was in grade 11 or 12 at high school, and I was in exam block, and we had a break between exams, and some friends and I walked down to the local cinema to watch Spider-Man, and then came back to school and were just amped up and throwing things at each other and pretending to catch them like Spider-Man does. And one of my friends even said, if you pretend you're Spider-Man, you'll do much better in the exam because Spider-Man is a nerd.
Right. And how did that work out?
Oh, I did fine. I'm a teacher. It could have been better, but
that sounds like we had similar. Yeah, I was out of school by that point, but it didn't make much difference. And they said you got to go see this thing. So it was an immediate hit. It was very obviously a callback to the Christopher Reeve Superman films in spirit, shall we say?
Yeah.
It has a timeless quality. It's set notionally when it's made, but you don't see any mobile phones.
No, there's no and
it's trying to be timeless, and I think it succeeds pretty well.
It is trying to be timeless. It's trying to be grounded. It's not set in a let me tear up the roots of my brain and talk you through this thought process.
Go for it.
There had been superhero movies at the cinema between Superman and Spider-Man.
Just a few.
Mostly they were Batman.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether I think X-Men does come before Spider-Man.
But they were in production at the same time. So one probably didn't inform the other.
And they're different movies. X-Men is pretty muted. It is in terms of color palette at least.
They saw The Matrix and said, "Yo, let's do that."
Yeah, it's still a good movie. But Spider-Man is a more colorful, more vibrant, more enjoyable movie.
Yeah, and I think it has stood the test of time better.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. But Batman was cartoonish, whereas Spider-Man was grounded. It was colorful and joyful.
Yeah,
but like Superman,
it wasn't silly.
It was meant to be. It's set in our world, just a cleaner version of our world.
That's a really good way of putting it. Actually, you're right, because Gotham City in the Tim Burton and beyond they definitely were twisting reality. It's like 1920s, but also modern.
Yeah,
but not
this big metropolis, pardon the pun, but like the big Gothic architecture and loop-de-loops in like building design.
It certainly got much sillier. No, you're right. It's not our reality in a literal sense. It's not like Christopher Nolan's Batman where you're trying to explain reality.
Yeah.
But it is, that's a good term. It's grounded, but really joyful, really positive, and perfect timing. You think post 9/11, I think that's what especially Americans needed. Like New Yorkers cheering about their hero, who's almost wearing the American flag.
And there's those big like masturbatory shots of Spider-Man like landing in front of a blowing American flag, and then it works.
That was very appropriate at the
but
time.
It's deliberate. This is Spider-Man trying to resuscitate New York pride a little bit.
I do remember when that was repeated for The Amazing Spider-Man. I remember some Americans at the time online going, even though we go, the American flag, but there are Americans who go, oh man, the American flag.
That's the time marching on.
That's right. So we'll get to that in a sec. But I think we can. I don't know if we need to dig down too much. Great cast.
Yep.
Everything worked. The visual effects were stunning.
Yeah, they were.
They haven't aged perfectly,
No,
but
there's a
they
little
were
bit of
very
rubber
good for the
doll,
time. Yes.
looking stuff when Spider-Man's leaping between rooftops.
Yep.
But
There's a lot of practical effects though, so you'll still have either Tobey Maguire or a stuntman landing on a set, an actual built set.
that initial climbing up the wall scene was just having him on a harness crawling across the wall.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not special effects.
Yep, that helps. There's, I'd say, one thing that does annoy a lot of people is the Green Goblin being metal, and they did tests with a rubber mask.
Yeah.
Which to me the test looked fine, so I don't know why it was dropped, but maybe when they knew once it was used on an actual set it wouldn't have looked as good. I don't know.
Yeah, and the retcon redesign, whatever you want to call it, for when that character comes back in Spider-Man No Way Home is a better design that they probably should have, like, if they had known back then, they would have been better going with that initially. But it still works.
Yeah,
it looks a little bit like a Power Ranger villain to me.
It does. It does. That's a little bit cheesy, and some of the filming around it does look a little bit TV at times. But Willem Dafoe is a standout, and I love the idea that he does that so-called Gollum scene, predating Gollum.
Yep.
Only by a few months, though, I think.
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror, and he's both Osborn and the Green Goblin. He does that all in one take.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So he's a standout. J.K. Simmons is the only what's the character's name?
J. Jonah Jameson.
I'm just so used to J.K.
Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah. He is the definitive.
Yeah, you can't recast that now.
No, it's one of the
never be that character.
It's one of the few times where actually I can't think of anyone else where you just go, nope, that's it, locked forever.
I'd say like Nick Fury in the Avengers it's Samuel L. Jackson, because that's what he looks like in the comics. He's drawn to look like Samuel L. Jackson.
That's true. That's true. But I don't know. You still have a badass and an eye patch, I suppose. But that's probably close though. But he is
he
phenomenally good.
And even if I say the phrase "get me photos of Spider-Man," you
hear
in
his
your
voice.
head it's in his voice.
Every scene of his is so funny. It's like, not now, leave.
Get back here.
Yeah, come back. You're fired. You're hired. $300.
Yeah.
Every scene is gold.
It's so fun. It's so manic. It's funny. It's quick paced.
Yeah, and you see Ted Raimi, Sam's brother, who's in it as one of the assistants, and your wife's on the line. Like, nope, hang up. Oh, it's so good.
It has a good supporting cast as well. Like Aunt May is.
She's really good.
She's good.
She's straight out of the comics, straight out of the cartoon.
Yep, she's a frail-ish old lady.
Yep. Sweet.
We get the death of Uncle Ben on screen, which is
pretty powerful.
Well done.
I've rewatched that a couple times. And it's still pretty good.
Yeah, when Spider-Man is hunting him down, the killer, the shooter, and he confronts him in the shadows, it's like there's moral darkness
Raimi.
there.
That's Raimi.
It. It's a very, very good movie.
And it shows what he could have become. And it's got that choice, because it's all about choice.
Yep.
The Green Goblins, you're alike, you and I, says the Green Goblin. And he's right. We are alike, but you chose this way and I chose this. And we do the thing which Batman Forever had already done. Yeah. Choose between Mary Jane or the busload of people.
Yeah.
And he chooses both because he's that kind of hero.
Yeah, the hero doesn't compromise.
It's kind of cheesy, but it is really, really effective.
Yeah, and it's a very basic superhero story.
It's unpretentious.
Yeah.
And smooth execution. There's very little fat, almost no fat on that script. There's little things like, everyone's 30 when they're high school kids and blah, blah, blah. But whatever.
Give me that time, over teenage actors.
Oh, yeah. If they're right for the role, they're right for the role. Tobey Maguire is a brilliant Peter Parker. His Peter Parker is better than his Spider-Man. His Spider-Man's okay. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But if his Peter Parker is an A+, then his Spider-Man's maybe a B+ or something.
Yeah,
it's still very good.
It is good. I think both of the subsequent Spider-Men are better Spider-Men.
Yes.
Spider-Man with the S. No, I didn't mean that. But like they have because Spider-Man's a smartass. When he's got the costume on, he is a smartass. And Peter Parker is just a dork making jokes.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire is a dork making jokes.
He is. And he sounds a bit too...
He sounds too nerdy when he's got the thing. Whereas I think Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are both better at being smartasses when they're Spider-Man.
Absolutely. So, I don't know. I think we can gloss over Spider-Man 2. We can just simply say it is, in my opinion, one of the greatest superhero movies ever
Yeah,
made.
I'd agree with that. I kind of when I first saw it initially, I was like, oh, it's good. It's more of the same.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, it's better. It's better than Spider-Man 1. I think the villain is better.
The effects hold up better.
The effects are better. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock,
Brilliant.
It's phenomenal. That's probably the best villain performance a Spider-Man movie has had.
Yeah.
I've got a one I prefer, but it's a great movie, and that your sequel to a superhero movie is about the character reaffirming the choice that they actually want this life. They get given an exit. They get given the choice. You cannot do this anymore. And they choose to continue doing it.
Right.
I don't think that had been done before, that's the second act of a superhero trilogy, is where you give your character a chance to opt out.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. That would have been a good option had they done that in, say, Superman 3 instead of nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
tune into that podcast for more disaster. So, I mean, it feels unfair of the film to be so understated and move on so quickly. But there's more interesting things to talk about.
The things that worked in Spider-Man 1 work better in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And again, great supporting cast and so on.
Yep.
Spider-Man 3, not so good.
And this is where we see, if you and I are doctors and we're diagnosing Spider-Man as a cinematic property with a disease, this is where we start to see symptoms.
Yeah. And studio interference, really.
That's the diagnosis. That is.
We mentioned it previously. I think you said it on a podcast. It doesn't matter. One of our last ones.
Yeah.
Raimi got venomed. So being venomed is now a verb. And it relates to any time a studio interferes structurally and catastrophically.
Yeah, it's when the studio mandates that something be included, even though it doesn't agree with what the creative forces have in mind.
Right. So here we have, we need to tie up the Osborn thing. My mate found out at the end of the last movie that I
Killed his dad,
even though he thinks it's murder and he doesn't know about the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
We need to tie that up. You've got Mary Jane, what's going to happen with them? Because you kind of tied things up to an extent in the last film.
They're together at the end of Spider-Man 2, aren't they?
Right. So we've written ourselves into a corner. How do we unpick that? So now we actually see that was the start of the relationship. Let's actually see the relationship. That's interesting. Hollywood doesn't normally do that. Hollywood does courtship, but not actual relationship.
And Spider-Man works well. Like, he works well when he's courting Mary Jane. Spider-Man also works really well when he is struggling to keep Mary Jane.
Right. And those were some of the best things in the cartoon, I recall.
The best things in the comic, best part about, or one of the best parts about the Spider-Verse movie, that first one, is that you've got a Spider-Man character who's gotten old and he's lost Mary Jane.
Yeah,
So that could have worked. The premise was Sam Raimi wanted Sandman as the villain.
And the so-called New Goblin with...
I don't think they were ever going to go with Hobgoblin, but it was going to be the New Goblin or the Green Goblin.
Don't know why they didn't do the Hobgoblin, to be honest, but anyway.
Different thing. I don't know enough about the comics to know how they're meant to be different or whatever. But
you could
there's enough there. You certainly don't need to introduce another big thing.
Yeah, so Venom coming in means two things. One, you got to introduce the black suit for Spider-Man.
Yeah, you got to introduce the symbiotes.
Yep, and then he needs to strip it and lose it, which means you need to introduce... Eddie Brock. I think I was going to say Flash Thompson. That was the other bully.
Yeah.
Eddie Brock. So I think I was thinking about this the other day and I thought, how would you fix this? Because I remember in the cinema watching this and going, Harry Osborn gets hit and gets amnesia in the opening scene. And I went,
that's nuts.
He's just swinging along doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he gets attacked.
You get bonk on the head.
Yeah, and then he get bonk on the head. Just like at the end, I'll just cut to the end for a moment, where they've suddenly realized, we got to get Sandman and Venom together. And it's just Sandman and Venom just meet randomly in a scene and in a street and go, let's join forces, and go, oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
It's Batman and Robin level plot contrivance.
It's bad. And I remember as soon as Harry Osborn gets KO'd and amnesia, and I went, they're trying to make way for Venom. And
I was much the same. I was like, they need to hit pause on this because they've not anticipated that they needed to
Yeah.
get Venom
And
into
and
this.
I didn't know that Venom was mandated at the time, but I could tell, oh, you got 3 villains and this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
And in fairness, saying we need to pause something for an entire act. Well, not even that. It's Act 1 and Act 2 because that's just a prologue, really.
Yeah.
We need to pause this was probably the right call because I think he was given an impossible task.
I do as well. I got a creative solution for you that I think would have fixed this.
Me too, but you go
Okay.
first.
I think you can make this movie decent, maybe not good, because Venom is a polarizing Spider-Man villain, he's not for everybody. He was very popular at the time,
Yes.
because it's a cool character design. I don't think there's much more to it than that.
No, it's just what if Spider-Man was evil, basically.
Yeah.
It's that old story.
I think Sam Raimi should have just got rid of Sandman. I don't think.
Okay, well there you go. We had the same thought.
Yeah, I don't think Sandman is a very interesting villain. I think he's cool in a retro way.
I think he could have, if there wasn't Venom there and he was this, there was some pathos to this villain, just like Doc Ock. I think that could have
repeating
worked.
the same moves we had with Doc Ock, where we've got a sympathetic villain who is trying to do the right thing, but he's a little bit corrupted.
Yeah, and I think if anyone could have pulled that off, it could have been Raimi.
He does a good job pulling it off. It's just there's no room for it in this movie,
Correct.
and something's got to go.
Yeah, so obviously if you had, I've got to take on my friend who's New Goblin,
Yeah.
and I'm losing, but I can use the Venom suit.
Yeah.
But then I nearly killed Harry,
Yeah.
and so now I need to withdraw, and I lose the suit.
That's it.
And then it's Venom, and they have to team up against Venom at the end.
There is very
There's a
clear
movie.
character and plot alignment if we've got Spider-Man and Peter Parker, who is New Goblin is kicking his Happy Meal butt up and down Main Street.
Yeah.
He's struggling to hold on to Mary Jane, and he feels like he's going to lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, I don't like having the symbiote be from outer space, but I think you've got to do it. It's part of the character.
Yeah.
We don't have that in this film. We don't have that in this universe yet. It's outlandish, but whatever.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. Puts the symbiote suit on, and all of a sudden he's winning.
Everything falls into place because you've chosen the easy path.
Yeah, and it always has been. It's a metaphor for like drug abuse, substance abuse.
Yeah.
It's winning, but in an amoral way or immoral way.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, it fundamentally changes who he is. MJ doesn't like him anymore.
Yeah.
He's close to killing his friend and then retreats and has to deal with the consequences of his earlier choice. That's a good movie.
Yep, that could work.
Yep.
Or if you didn't have the New Goblin, that could have worked with Sandman. But the point is, you had to have New Goblin because what were you going to do with Harry?
Set up. Yeah,
you had to do that.
Was the stinger at the end of the previous movie.
Yeah, so Raimi, it's not your fault you got venomed, but you still chose to keep the Sandman.
Stubbornly, and I think there's a lot of stubborn choices in this movie where he's kind of realized, well, this thing's going to suck. Watch me turn the suck up to 11.
Yeah.
Like where we have Spider-Man dancing in the street.
Yeah.
And his Katie Lang emo fringe.
Have you heard the defense of that scene? Have you heard what the rationale?
No.
Okay, so the idea is that it's pretty embarrassing and cringy and all the rest of it. And they say, yeah, that's the point, though. The point is it's not him being cool. It's that he's a nerd who's been jacked up on this black
so
suit.
he just thinks he's
this
cool.
is what nerdy Peter Parker thinks is cool. That's why all the women look at it and go, what are you, serious? Which is logical and makes sense, but I still don't think it lands.
I don't think it lands, and also that's not the vibe. Like because he's making headway with Gwen Stacy.
Why is she in this movie?
Yeah, that's another thing. Another thing.
And also, what I didn't realize because I don't know the comics, the roles are reversed because Gwen is working at a jazz bar or something, and and apparently it's like her and Mary Jane were basically swapped.
Yep.
Apparently, but again, I don't know the comics, so it's like, so why even have her in there? It's bizarre.
It doesn't make sense. It's throwing stuff.
Yeah. So it's like, we got too much stuff in here. My solution is to throw even more in here.
Yeah.
And I understand that the black suit is about temptation. So you have a temptation of another woman, and naturally you go to a pre-existing comic book character. But again, you've already got too much stuff.
And I don't think the black suit temptation in Spider-Man, if it's ever been lust, like that temptation is lust. I've not read that, and I don't think it works for the character.
No.
The temptation that the black suit represents is
power,
like violence.
Yeah.
It's Spider-Man using his powers to commit acts of violence.
And in fairness, that's one bit that does work where he thinks he's killed the Sandman, he goes
Yeah.
to his aunt and says, Spider-Man killed
Yeah,
the Sandman. She goes, no, he doesn't kill.
He doesn't kill.
And that's when he goes, oh, hang on,
Yeah.
this is wrong. That's one part that does work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not everything else can pivot around that. Have you seen the editor's cut?
No, tell me about it.
I watched it. It was floating around online. Sony's probably stood on it since.
Yeah.
And it does help. So it is what it says it is. It's the editor re-edited. It's not a director's cut.
Yeah.
It does help. There's no time to go into all the bits and pieces. But have you ever seen Highlander 2?
Yeah.
Have you seen the original theatrical cut or the director's cut?
It's a director's cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you it. Don't worry, this is a short diversion. Highlander 2, famously one of the worst sequels ever made, and they ran out of money. So Russell Mulcahy came back for the sequel, and obviously wasn't good at managing the film.
Yeah.
They just stopped. So hence some of the special effects shots weren't even finished.
Yeah.
I saw the theatrical cut back in the day and went, "Wow, this is atrocious." Not realizing that it's literally an unfinished film.
Yeah.
Several years later, he was given a budget to finish it, and they even got Christopher Lambert came back and they actually reshot scenes and everything.
That's wild.
Why
do that? Because how are you going to make that money back?
Right?
Is it with VHS sales?
It would have been, but I can't imagine it worked. But anyway, so it went from being probably a 1 out of 10 so bad it's good film to being a 3 or 4 out of 10. No, 4 definitely not. A 3 out of 10 where you go, it's definitely better, but it's not interestingly bad anymore. That's what the editor's cut is, where you go, this is definitely better, but the problems are so structural you can't fix it, and it's actually less interesting now. But it is a better cut.
Yeah.
So I won't go into the details of why. I don't remember all the specifics, mind you. Anyway, it certainly is improved. Okay, it's interesting to know that there's something redeemable in here.
Yeah.
But just like Highlander 2, you can't.
There's
fundamental
not
problems.
enough good things there that you can just take the bad things out, and there's enough good movie left to work.
In some cases, it's just repositioning.
Yeah.
Timing of scenes, and when Harry probably the biggest one, Harry finds out that his dad was actually no good.
The butler.
Yeah, it's actually someone else who tells him, and that's structured differently, and so on.
There's a lot of this movie gets off lightly, I think, as far as notoriety is concerned, because in terms of lazy writing,
it's Blade 3 levels of bad.
It's Batman and Robin levels of bad.
Yep.
That the butler of exposition, as he's known, that is astoundingly lazy writing.
Yes.
That is showing such contempt for your audience.
That is just like, how do we get Sandman and Venom together? How do we knock Harry out of the story? Yeah. It feels like 3 decisions were made at 4 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah.
3
very big
decisions.
These are decisions that move the movie from one act into the next.
Yeah.
And they are on decisions that nobody in that writer's room, nobody involved could have thought these were good choices.
No, and I think they went, this will have to do.
It's got to do. It's what the clock's counting down. We've got to do this.
Interesting you mentioned Batman and Robin, because Batman and Robin, as bad as it was, and it certainly was.
Continues to be. Yeah.
It continues to be. It still made its money in the day.
Yeah. And
there was even talk of Joel Schumacher doing another Batman film. Just like here, there was going to be a Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, and I'm
just thinking, are you serious? You've driven this into the dirt.
Well, and I can't imagine, because it was going to be Sam Raimi back for a 4th one.
Yeah, the same actors.
I don't know why he wanted to still.
Yeah.
And I think the idea was the Vulture was going to be.
Yes.
And that's a good villain. Works really well when they do it later on. It's a standout, I think. But yeah, I can't. And it's a long time then before Sam Raimi makes another movie.
Yeah.
He makes Drag Me to Hell a long time later, I think.
Yeah. I think he did more producing and such rather than directing.
I think he was involved in TV. He had Xena and Hercules on the go at this time, I think, as well.
Oh, are they still going then?
Maybe not.
Probably
not.
By
Probably
Spider-Man
not.
3, I don't think so.
No.
But before then, he helped get the Ash versus the Evil Dead off the ground too.
Yeah.
So he directed the pilot to that, for example. Yeah. So all right, let's move on.
Before we leave on,
Yes.
the performances in this trilogy of Spider-Mans, all good. How do you feel about Topher Grace as Eddie Brock?
I don't know enough about the character, so I don't have anything else to draw on from that point of view.
Yeah.
I think he was a bit over the top, and he's poorly written. So I'd say, yeah, not great. But I don't think it's his fault though.
Yeah, that's about how I feel as well. I think if he's meant to be portraying the evil opposite of Peter Parker. That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's another dweeb who's gotten jacked up on like black goo from outer space.
Yeah.
And he's doing what the brief of the movie
Yeah.
is asking him to do.
Absolutely. So
he gets a lot of flack for it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
people
okay.
say like he's hamming it up and all that sort of stuff. That's these movies.
Yeah, especially the
tone.
third one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's
And Thomas Hayden Church is a pretty good Sandman.
yeah, he's great. No notes there. He's really good.
He's really good. It's just
And the visual effects around him too, mostly good. Or when he is first formed.
Yep,
really
good.
Really impressive.
So there's a lot there is stuff in this movie. I was going to say a lot. There's not.
No,
there's stuff in this movie that is good. The people involved, like the humans on screen, they're all doing their best.
Yep.
There's no one on screen who is like trying to sink the ship or
No,
whatever.
not at all.
Everyone is trying to do the right thing. It's not a moral thing. Everybody is doing what they're being asked to do. It's just that
They were given an impossible task.
this thing is stuffed to the gills with content that it needs to cover.
And thankfully, that will never happen again to another Spider-Man film.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Okay, so then the Spider-Man franchise is...
Rebooted.
It's rebooted.
Did you know the director's name is Mark Webb?
I did know that. That's very good.
I love that.
And I think he had done a musical or something, Barbershop.
Oh,
No, I
is
don't
that
know if
him?
that's a music.
Okay.
I don't know.
He definitely had some directing credits before.
He did. We get a new Spider-Man actor, Andrew Garfield, who is probably of the three, he is the best actor.
Yeah.
He does good movies.
He makes interesting choices.
Yeah.
I think his Spider-Man, like we mentioned before, is particularly good.
Yep.
His Peter Parker is definitely not. You say you're way too handsome to be.
He's a very handsome dude.
Yeah, or at least then he was. But
yeah, he got his big claim to fame before this was in The Social Network, where he was phenomenal. Right. He's outstanding in The Social Network.
Yeah, he's made some really interesting choices since as well. So yeah, no notes for him for the Spider-Man. I think he was generally well cast despite those flaws with him being Peter Parker. He acts pretty well in these films. He does a good job. He's got to really hit the emotion. When he cries, he doesn't look as weird as Tobey Maguire, I guess. That's a plus.
Yeah. The villain across all of these movies, the villain is like a tertiary consideration. These movies are about Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, and I like that they went that way instead of Mary Jane.
Yep, I do too. I think there's a lot there that they haven't covered in film before, like Gwen Stacy's father, and then like Gwen Stacy has to die at some point. Yeah,
which I didn't know because again, I just haven't read the comics. So the first one, you got the Lizard Man, which I thought was great. Shame that never got to that in Raimi's films because he was set up, of course. But he's in it, and that's a pretty good villain. I would say the only problem... So I saw it. I happened to be in London at the time, and I went to see it.
Yeah.
And as a Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire fan, I went, that's pretty good.
It's
a lot
fine.
of the web slinging was done practically in a lot of cases.
The effects are a lot... They've come a long way. They look less...
It's probably aged better than some of the Raimi ones, but there were less effects used in the first one. Only the first one. We'll get to the second one in a moment.
There's, the Lizard's plot to turn all of New York City into lizard people is a bit dopey.
It's we got to shut down the blue light in the middle of the city, which Marvel had done several times. It became a joke at the time.
The sky beam. We've got to battle our way to the sky beam and shut this thing down.
That's probably the weakest part of the film. Yeah. I would say the whole. How do you feel about? Turns out his parents.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
It feels superfluous.
Yeah.
And actually even worse, probably distracting.
Yeah, and I also think it's counter to what the Spider-Man character is meant to be at his heart. He's not Batman. He's just some well-meaning, innocent kid who
Yeah.
happened to get bitten by a spider. And so now he's got great power and he has great responsibility. And that's like, they allude to that, but they don't allude to it. They outright state it often in the film. That is the point of Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, the Raimi films say that at least in 2 of those films, if not 3.
Yeah. And that's it's synonymous with Spider-Man now. The character, that's his mantra.
Yep.
And that kind of falls apart if you inherit that responsibility, or you are chosen, or you are someone special.
Yeah. You're right. That's I mean, for me, it does not derail those 2 films, but it is definitely a negative.
Yeah.
And probably the weakest thing across those 2 films.
I think so
would
too.
say.
I think it's
because there was a deleted scene where his father turns up too. So I don't know if they were trying to bring his father back, and I'm just going, ugh.
Yeah.
So no, that doesn't work at all, and it diminishes Uncle Ben too. I think
it does. I mean, those are Spider-Man's parents. Functionally, it's Aunt May and Uncle Ben.
Yeah, and that's the point, that they have become his parents.
And I think whereas it works for Batman, whenever we find out that Thomas and Martha Kent are flawed characters, that does mean that Batman's money, which is his superpower, is also a source of torment for him.
Connected.
It works. It plays to who we know as Batman is as a character, is that his past is a source of torment.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's actually really well put. So okay, fair enough. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
A little bit silly plot with the lizard. Yeah, lizard man.
We got another like all of the New York crane operators are able to make a path for Spider-Man in the middle of the night.
That works plot wise, but no, you're right. That as you said before, we moved on.
Politically, at this point,
it's the
America had been in Iraq, lied about weapons of mass destruction. So America was not the victim of a terrorist attack anymore.
No.
America was the propagator of a dishonest war overseas. Politically was the tone at the time.
And so, Obama was there. It was no longer a Republican president, where for reasons we won't get into, but patriotism tends to flare up when Republicans are around.
Yeah, because what they got, that's all they got.
That's right. Yeah. So they, it seemed a little bit, I mean, if you switch your brain off in the context of the film, it absolutely works.
Yeah.
But it didn't land as well.
It's not the klaxon call that it is for the first Spider-Man movie, where it's like, hell yeah, New York. Yeah, I know that place is doing good again now.
You earned that.
Yeah.
And they needed that. Yeah. And they were the underdogs.
Whereas this is kind of like, oh yeah. Yeah, you're always saying this,
actually,
New York.
You were the bullies at that point.
You're always saying New York is special.
Yeah. Someone wrote a song about that. I think, could be wrong. Several songs. So, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So, The Amazing Spider-Man Pass. It's fine.
It's fine.
I've seen it a couple of times. I don't mind it. I know there's a lot of Tobey Maguire fans who go,
it's fine. Emma
you took the role. Emma Stone's really good.
Yeah.
It's
it's a weaker script than Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2.
Better than 3. So
give me half an hour off.
So's that dead wasp out there.
Yeah. But it's a solid start. It's not an outstanding start like Spider-Man 1 was, but it's a solid start. Yeah, there's enough here to work with.
And the problem is, it was only 5 years since the last film.
Yeah, that was so. At this point, people were a little bit wary of reboots.
Yes,
and Batman had been rebooted, and that was a real gamble.
Yeah, and it paid off, so it kind of went fair enough. And you're making it a bit more darker and less, I guess, flamboyant or whatever you want to call it.
People were initially confused about Batman Begins. They thought it was a prequel because the idea of a reboot was like unheard of in cinema.
Okay. I didn't realize
by
that
the time Amazing Spider-Man came around, I think people were largely, this is a different thing.
Yeah, and the fact that you recast and so on.
It's recast.
Okay. So The Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out, and I didn't watch it at the time. I watched it for the first time a month ago when I was going through my superhero explosion, which resulted in me watching all the Superman films. But I saw the trailer, and I went, I can see the suit for the Green Goblin. I can see the Rhino. I can see Electro. And a lot of visual effects. So the practical effects that I liked for the first film, and I just went, Oh, the accountants are running this one.
Yeah,
So I don't want to see
it is
this.
very important to understand that this movie is made after Marvel has got its cinematic universe off the ground.
Sony were going to make a Sinister Six film.
Yep.
And then, of course, it wasn't too long after this that the first Venom film came out that ultimately became disconnected anyway and isolated.
Because they had no plan. They just they saw what Marvel had with they had interconnected movies, and they said, "We don't need you, Marvel. We can do this for ourselves.
Yeah.
We've got enough in Spider-Man. We've got all these villains. We've got all these anti-heroes. We don't need any of your help. Let's make our own thing. We'll start by having our next Amazing Spider-Man movie launch all of these potential story threads."
About the same time, or only just a couple of years after Amazing Spider-Man 2, Ghostbusters 2016, with the all-female cast.
Oh yeah,
they set up a separate company called Ghost Corp or something.
Yeah.
And they were going to have a whole Ghostbusters cinematic universe.
Yeah.
So no one asked for that.
No, and there's no appetite for it.
No.
There's barely an appetite for the new Ghostbusters movies. They do okay.
Yeah, they're adequate films financially at best. It's disastrous. And I will say, having died down, I went back and watched Amazing Spider-Man 2, and major spoilers for that film. Yeah, Gwen Stacy dies at the end.
Yeah.
And I lament that, and in fairness, things like the Green Goblin, yes, he shouldn't be in there, but he's not the main villain until
Electro is.
Yeah, until the end. So he turns up kind of like Two-Face turns up in The Dark Knight, where you've got a second villain.
Yeah.
So it's not like you've got simultaneous villains. So, okay. And the Rhino is there almost as a gag, and he's there at the very, very end just to show that Spider-Man went away because his girlfriend died.
Yeah.
So from his point of view, he failed, and now he's come back to fight the Rhino, and you only see him for a second. So I thought, there'd be a whole thing about the Rhino too.
Yeah.
So it's not as bloated as I thought it was going to be.
The issue with it is not it's bloated; it's that it's distracted. I think
it is distracted. That's a really good way of saying it. And I found the death of Gwen Stacy pretty effective, and so I liked the character, it's
a good plot device for Spider-Man is having Spider-Man fail, and it really hurt him.
Yeah, and I do lament that finish, and I went, that kind of sucks that he didn't get a chance for the third one to close that out. And although he did a bit later, which we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the film still made money. It made
a decent amount of money.
Yeah, it just didn't make all of the money.
And Spider-Man, but I think, as I said, the most important thing to understand about Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that Marvel at this point was making lots of money.
Yeah, they were making $1 billion per film.
$1 billion per film, 2 films per year.
Yeah.
And so that is
when it only made 700 something plus million, which at the time was still, and for the budget, was still
good,
okay.
If you're only making that much with a Spider-Man movie when a Guardians of the Galaxy movie is making $1 billion, I can understand why Sony's been like, we are underutilizing this property, maybe.
But I still think when you make all the money off all the residuals of merchandising and all this, you make more money from things other than the film. So that means if they made $700 million with the movie that year, they made more than $700 million with other stuff.
For sure.
So the only world where it makes sense to say, we only made insane amounts of money, so we'll do another reboot, is in a very greedy, ultra-capitalist system where you go, we made $1.5 billion this year, and that's not enough.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And we ultimately, that reboot, it then became a joke. Like, Spider-Man reboot.
Spider-Man's rebooting again. I mean, I'm grateful because I didn't like the creative direction they were going in with Amazing Spider-Man. And I thought Spider-Man Homecoming was a much better movie than either of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, in spite of the big baggage that comes with being a Marvel property.
And that's where we get into it. So I just for context here, so from 2007, which was Spider-Man 3, within 10 years, the Amazing Spider-Man has run its course, and we have a new Spider-Man on the big screen. So that's a big turnaround. In 10 years, you've got 3 different actors, 3 different sort of separate franchises, in a sense. The problem with... So I would say the Tom Holland trilogy is I don't like them, but I would still say they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I just know Spider-Man. I'm no longer the target audience. I got too much grey hair,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I've moved on with my life, and I no longer want a kid who's struggling with high school. And Spider-Man is obviously, it's got the puberty metaphor,
Yeah.
especially when he's actually, projecting the web
Yeah,
himself
yeah,
and
yeah.
so on, which it looks like the new one's doing.
Yeah,
Weirdly,
that's
the fourth one is like he's 30 now. Why is he suddenly? Anyway,
Yeah.
they're doing that. So I'm no longer the target audience, therefore they're not for me. That doesn't make them bad.
Yeah.
The fact that you had a younger actor who looked the part.
Yeah, he
and
looks like a teenager.
He does a pretty good
He's got
job.
a good Spider-Man. He's got a pubescent Spider-Man voice.
Yeah.
It cracks a little bit.
He does a pretty good job. So I watched it and went, yeah, not for me, but it's pretty good. And his
Yeah.
offsider and the ensemble again, and Mary Jane and his aunt are all reimagined.
Yeah.
It all worked pretty well.
It all works very well.
Except
Yeah.
I hated the fact that Tom Holland never got to be in a Spider-Man film. He was only in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, that's
And I
yeah.
lament that. I think that's unfair. My generation, I wasn't an adult, but still, my generation got the Sam Raimi films.
Yeah.
And so there's Gen Y pretty happy. Gen Z gets the Andrew Garfield films. They get to see Spider-Man being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that Gen Alpha never got that. Well, maybe they don't care because they've just grown up in movies where everything's connected.
Yeah, I think
But they deserve a good standalone Spider-Man franchise, and they never got one.
If I have to play devil's advocate, and I, to be clear, I do think that's the weakest element of these movies is
Yes.
that they have a lot of Marvel baggage that they need to carry.
Yep.
It does serve a narrative purpose that this version of Spider-Man, he doesn't have an Uncle Ben. Presumably, he has
To make way for Tony Stark.
Yeah, that's it. And so he is looking for a male role model. And so for the 3 movies we've seen this Spider-Man, in each one, there is a different male role model who is an Avenger, a superhero. In the first one, it's Iron Man, and then it's Nick Fury, and then in the third one, it's Doctor Strange. And so narratively, it's filling a need, and it's true to the comics as well. Like Spider-Man has other characters duck in and duck out of his stories in the Marvel comics.
And I understand it's the world we live in.
Yeah,
I get
that's
that. And you asked the Gen Alphas, whoever, and like I said, they grew up with, the idea of interconnected cinematic universes has been around longer than some of them have been alive.
Yeah.
So they're probably fine with it, but I don't know. I still think they should have had that. And so for me, that's a bugbear that I can't get over.
No, I can understand it. I can understand why.
Yeah.
I think the first Homecoming is very, very good, and it's largely because of the use of the villain.
The villain's pretty good, but I think the choice of actor is really what sells that. I think the
Michael
casting
Keaton's
is
phenomenal.
Brilliant.
And I think the villains of these movies are, I don't want to say they leave, they're outstanding. So
the second one with, you talk about male role models. Well, Mysterio was going to be the male role model.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal, I think that is my favorite Spider-Man villain on screen. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is so good.
Yeah, because he is portrayed as a hero.
Yeah, he wants to be a hero, but he wants to do it by nefarious means.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that movie is a very, very good Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is about like developing your own moral conscience, and it serves a need. It does understand the Spider-Man character very well, and it is a very good road trip movie. Which
that's definitely the strength of that film. I agree. Is that the one that ends up where they have a massive battle in the London Bridge? Yeah, that's where I went. Oh, this is turning into Marvel stuff again. I did not like that at all. I was bored by going. Yeah, those glossy effects look shiny, and that green screen is fine, I suppose.
No, the final battle of Homecoming is better, where it's just Vulture and Spider-Man beating the tar out of each other on the beach.
Exactly, because it's about one-on-one. That's the point of these films. Anyway, old man yelling cloud here.
So, as I said, I can understand why that is the flaw of these movies, is that they have it. I think it's not fatal until No Way Home. And No Way Home is, it's very profitable, and a lot of people like it. as I've said to you before, the biggest achievement of that movie is scheduling.
Yes.
That they were
It's a
able
success of
that's it.
scheduling.
Because as a story, it's not interesting.
Here's the weird thing. It's my favorite of the three.
Yeah.
I acknowledge its flaws. I wouldn't say it's the best of the three,
Yeah.
but it's the one I enjoy the most. And the reason for that is things, especially like going back to watch. I mean, the reason I went back to watch The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is because I saw what happens with Andrew
there's a
Garfield's
moment
character.
where he does get to save
he does
someone.
the same thing again, but this time it works. And Garfield carries that moment. He acts perfectly in that.
Garfield he's still it's a standout.
Yeah,
it's a very good performance.
He does very, very well.
Tobey Maguire, not good.
He's
very awkward, and he carries himself like a celebrity because he is a celebrity now.
Yeah,
and he's not playing Spider-Man anymore. He's playing Tobey Maguire playing Spider-Man again.
It works in the context of the. The three of them being there together still works.
Yeah.
But you're right. His performance is not as good as Garfield's.
Willem Dafoe's great.
Having the Sandman just being able to tie things up with him a little bit as well.
Yeah.
You got to tie up the loose
threads. It does a lot.
The fact
but
that
it didn't need to.
No, and that's the weird part. That stuff is that's the stuff that shouldn't be in there. But for me, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it worked for me.
Yeah,
because
I can understand that.
Because Spider-Man 3 didn't tie up the trilogy adequately, and they do a little bit to try and rectify that. Andrew Garfield, he deserved a third film because the problems with those films were not him, and here he got to do a little bit. So in a meta sense, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
As a film, I agree, it's not great, but that's probably the only one I'll rewatch because of my connection to the other films.
I think that movie gets us, of the three Tom Holland movies that have been released so far, the death of Aunt May is maybe the only impactful emotional moment of the three movies. The rest dabble in it, but it's always just Spider-Man getting beaten up and then people encouraging him, and he rallies and he comes back, which is nice, but we don't see Spider-Man emotionally tormented particularly.
No, whereas Spider-Man 2, the Raimi one, is that choice again was perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think they've topped that really.
Yeah. So as I said, I'm very partial to Far From Home because it's Mysterio. Mysterio is my favorite Spider-Man villain, and I think that movie makes the best case for Spider-Man being a Marvel property because it is about like, who does Spider-Man look up to, and what happens when Spider-Man is looking up to the wrong person. And that's interesting.
That is true. Yeah, absolutely. Just mentioned, I love the fact that they just brought J.K. Simmons back. Yeah, because they just what are you going to do? What else?
There'd be more outrage if they did.
Absolutely. There was something else I was going to say with those. Anyway, it'll either come back to me or it won't. I guess. They're all immensely profitable. They all made $1 billion, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and there's a fourth one coming out this summer.
I don't really have anything to say about that. It looked like it's going to be closer to just a Spider-Man movie with less of the stuff attached.
Yeah, you've got Punisher and you've got Bruce Banner involved.
Yeah, but Bruce Banner seems to be there just to offer a bit of advice. Knowing them, they'll probably have him turn as the Hulk at the end. But I do know the storyline where Spider-Man mutates into an actual spider.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then the Punisher is the one that saves him. So it makes sense that he's there.
Yeah.
And the Punisher doesn't have the baggage of the Avengers characters. So I'm going, all right.
Yeah, we can see. I suspect, much like the last movie, they're withholding a lot from the trailer.
Yeah.
And that there's going to be more Marvel stuff to this.
Yeah, if you see... instead of Bruce Banner, if you see the Incredible Hulk turn up, I'm going to cringe and roll my eyes. And if you got him in there, why wouldn't you, I suppose?
Yeah.
So I expect that'll happen. Just quickly mentioning Into the Spider-Verse. That was the thing I was going to mention.
Yeah.
The 3 Tom Holland films. Can we just talk very briefly about the stupidity of the naming convention, please?
Yeah, I don't like that. And
home, and home.
I don't like it. I like even less that they've abandoned it for this fourth one. And so, I like the idea of Spider-Man movies having a subtitle because
absolutely.
I mean, I would rather it be a numeral. I like movie sequels having a numeral, but I understand why movies don't do that anymore. Is because it makes people feel like, oh, if I haven't seen one, I can't see this one. Yeah. First one should have been called Homecoming. That makes a lot of sense. It's Spider-Man coming home to Marvel, and it's also the key event is the homecoming dance.
Yeah. And Americans definitely understand.
You could have called that Spider-Man in Europe, and that would have been a fun subtitle for that one.
Yeah.
That is in playing with like the road trip pastiche the movie has.
Yeah.
And then the third one, Spider-Man, They're All Here, or something like that.
Spider-Man.
Or call it Spider-Man.
Spider-Man nostalgia trip. Which it very obviously was.
Yeah, it's a very contrived. Far From Home, No Way Home, and they're interchangeable as well.
I have to think about them a lot. I still just like when here's our obligatory Star Wars mention, but I still get the Souls because one of them's called The Last Jedi, but that's not the last film in the trilogy, and that still fries my brain. Yeah. So anyway, that's just me. Now, I just want to mention briefly because it's sort of it starts to leave our main parameters.
Yeah.
But Into the Spider-Verse, I thought the first film was really good.
Yeah, that first film is sensational, and that's now maybe regular podcast favorites. Lord and Miller directing, and they are very frenetic directors. They are able to make something that is fast-paced and chaotic feel very breezy and easy to follow.
And I like how focused on the character again that it was.
Yep.
And I like that you can have a pig version and there's some silliness in it, but it still surprised me that it worked, and it worked quite well.
Yeah, there's that movie, for as silly as it is and as goofy as it is, it has some very good, strong emotional moments.
Yep.
It has a strong arc for a Spider-Man character. Miles Morales as Spider-Man, it's what Spider-Man is about, is finding out who you are and developing morality. It's not subtle.
No.
But it's a great movie. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I'll just say briefly, I hated the sequel.
The sequel is much, much less good, and I think it's got the same issue that these movies have, which is
too much stuff.
They are being tasked with doing too much stuff.
And remember, I've mentioned this in a previous one where we talk about movies that are split into two and shouldn't have been, like Matrix 2 and 3. Yep. And this is one where they bring the crew back together in the last 5 minutes and then say, to be continued. And I nearly flipped the desk over. I went,
throw a tantrum.
I genuinely don't like that movie. That's the only movie out of all of these that I would say I'm actively angry against. I think probably because I've just come to terms with what Spider-Man 3 is.
Yeah.
There's enough to be angry. Yeah, I've moved on to the acceptance stage of grief.
That's
there.
Very good. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. But the second Spider-Verse film, I just think is genuinely bad.
I think there's a lot there that's interesting, and there's a lot there that I wish I liked more.
And that's why I'm angry, because it's like whatever the third part is, when they eventually get around to making it, I think we're going to look at it and go, if you just put those two together in one film, it would have been good.
Yeah, like Miguel O'Hara as is it Spider-Man 2099? I like that character. I like that he's the Batman Spider-Man. Yeah. He's the paranoid tech one. Mm-hmm. And Oscar Isaac is great.
Which one was he again?
He's Miguel O'Hara. He's He's the voice actor.
Okay. Yeah. I deleted some of that from my brain.
The villain is good. The villain is interesting. This guy who can create portals and
on
destroy.
Paper,
it's fine. It sounds really, really good. This is a good, and it's a good response to the first movie. If in the first movie it was about accessing this multi-dimensional thing, it makes sense that the villain is one who can manipulate that and use it to destroy.
It's got sequelitis though. It's like, now there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex Spider-Man. Now he's in the part where there's hundreds of them. It's like, what can we can break some animators. Some animators didn't get to see their families for a couple of months so that you could have that sequence.
Yeah,
I was watching that
Department of Spider-Man's.
And I was watching that going, this is in lieu of interesting character stuff, and I don't like this. And the film goes too long.
Yep, it's very long.
Yeah, and like I said, if in the end, we'll probably end up with 4.5 hours
Yeah.
between these two films. That should have been
Yeah,
2.5
it's very
hours.
long for a movie where nothing happens.
Yeah, no, I got.
So yeah, I agree
I don't
with
want
you.
to see the third one. As a result, you've actually turned me off it, even though the first one's quite good.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a summary. Do you want to just very quickly shoot through the strike rate thing? How did we
Yeah,
keep
let's
that
do
going?
that. I think like it's important
Okay, just
to
get some paper to write on.
yeah, let me have a look. I'm gonna shout from across the room. It's important to we said that like we think there is a common thing that Spider-Man keeps getting sabotaged.
Yeah. So
and
they just can't keep their hands off it.
They do. They have proven they are good at developing a successful property. They have done it 3 times now, where they've been able to get to market with a Spider-Man movie. I mean, arguably 4 times because of Spider-Verse. They can get to market with a Spider-Man property, and people like it, and it is so it's critically well regarded, and people pay a lot of money to go see it. And in a rational universe, that would be enough. If you keep doing that forever, you will never go hungry.
Yep, and you got enough villains and things to draw on. But anyway,
but Sony, they're always like, but we need it to be more.
Yeah, and hence where we don't need to talk about Morbius and Mobius, whatever that's called.
It's Morbin time.
Yeah.
And that's it. They have,
because what you said just then sums them up.
Yeah,
that's
while the Spider-Man movies have been going on, they've been trying to launch other stuff related to Spider-Man, but not really.
Nobody cares.
Venom, Madam Web, Craven,
Venom at least wrapped up as a notionally satisfying trilogy. I didn't particularly like them, but I get why they did. They made money.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that for some rights thing in Madam Web, you've got someone in the ambulance, and there's a kid. But you can't mention that it's Peter Parker. They don't have the rights to the name.
The guy is Ben Parker.
Right.
So Adam Scott, I think, is the actor playing, who I love. Adam Scott's great. He deserves better. Yeah.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, those movies are bad.
Yep, that's probably all we need to say.
Yeah.
Strike rates.
Spider-Man 1.
Yep.
9.
I'll give it an 8 only because so it's a 9 at the time, and just because the effects have aged a bit, I'm being a bit strict on that.
Yeah.
But hey, 8's a good score. So 2.
10.
I think so too, because if I'm going to say it's probably the best superhero film ever made, I mean,
really,
I think it's
well.
Let me rephrase. It's definitely in the running for the best.
Yeah, I couldn't say it's not definitively.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it is, but I mean, I gave it a 10.
If I'm giving it that praise, it's got to come with a 10.
I don't know whether there's anything in there that I don't like or love. It's got some incredible. I mean, I don't really like Dr. Octopus as a villain normally, but it worked. Alfred Molina's phenomenal.
Spider-Man 3. Slightly less than a 10.
3 sounds good. Yeah, give it a 3.
I'm going to give it a 2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to go a little bit lower there. Amazing Spider-Man 1.
6.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely better than a pass, but not by much.
Yeah.
Number 2.
3.
I'm actually going to give that a 5. I'm giving it a just barely a pass. And I think stepping away for a decade probably helped. I didn't see it at the time.
Yeah, I might have been a bit flippant when I said 3 just then, because I'm thinking about it now. Like Dane DeHaan, who's the new Goblin, he does all right.
Yep.
Actually, but Electro, I really dislike. I think that's a goofy. Yeah, no, 3's right. I was right when I said it.
No, fair enough. No, it's he's not the best. He is playing at the same time. That same week, I watched Batman Forever. He's doing Jim Carrey's. What was Edward Nygma? He's doing the same thing.
Yeah,
that's definitely a problem.
So
I'm probably being slightly generous with the 5, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Home 1. I don't remember the names of these films.
The Home trilogy.
The Home trilogy. So number 1.
I'll give that one a 7.
And I'll give it a 6. I think I might come back to that, but yeah.
I like I like Vulture. Michael Keaton in that one is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's true. Because I was going to drop it to a 5, actually. No, you're right. No, Michael Keaton's in it. You just got to remind me he's in the film.
And his speech to Spider-Man in the back of the car after they figure out who each other are, and he's like,
my favorite thing in movies is that scene where the two people can't go all in.
Yeah.
Like,
they both.
I know you, and Columbo does it in almost every episode.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm an old man. I love Columbo, where Columbo lets the criminal know that I know that you did it.
Yeah.
And then they still have to dance.
Just yet. Yeah.
They still have to dance.
We need to reveal that the characters reveal themselves to each other.
Oh.
Nobody else in the room sees it.
Yeah.
But they can't act on it just yet.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. That's
a pretty good version of it, I would say.
It's well done in that version.
And Holland does, for a young actor, he does a pretty good job.
And superhero movies don't often get that right.
No, because they're usually pretty bombastic with that sort of stuff. Second one.
7 again.
I'm going to go a 5.
Yep. Fair.
Third one. This is going to be weird, but because you definitely weren't as fond of this one.
No, 3.
So you're putting
one for every Spider-Man in it.
So the bad ones of each franchise, you've gone 3, 3, and 3.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd put them on a par. They're each about as good as the other.
Yeah, I'll go a 5 with it. Probably deserves a 3, but like I said, we are factoring in our personal preferences, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't be totally
removed from.
Yeah. These are subjective rating.
Absolutely. Do you want to do the Across the Spider-Verse or into whatever those films are called?
We're here. Why not?
Go for it.
That first one. Give it a 9.
I'll go an 8. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very.
Second one.
Oh man, 3.
Wow, you're consistent.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man 3, I gave a 2. So that's probably about right. For different reasons, they're probably on the same level.
Yeah.
So there's that. Let's do a quick average. All right. So I did all that in my head in only 1 second.
That's very impressive.
10 films, which means the averaging it out's easy. So you're a perfectly round 6.
Yeah. So the average Spider-Man film is a 6 for me.
That's pretty high.
That sounds right. Like it's not much better than, I think from memory, my Superman one was 5.7.
It was about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are like probably my 2 favorite superheroes. I like them. Which is given that I gave 4 of those movies a 3.
Yeah.
The ones that really hit hard for me.
Yeah. So looking at yours, for example.
Yeah.
If we say basically 7 and above is quite a high score.
Yeah.
And anything below a 5 is bad.
Yeah.
In the middle there, you've only got 1 in the middle, 6.
Yeah.
So you've either gone 3 or 7 and above. So there's a real...
It's a bell curve with sticky ends.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is not like that at all. So I've got...
yours is a lot flatter, hey?
Yeah, I've only got 3 films that are 7 or better.
Yeah.
So I'm way lower. But things like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was higher. So even though some of your 3s were 2s for me, but then a couple of the 3s were 5 for me. So so in the end, my average of 5.7, our averages are close, but we're telling quite a different story here. So when it bottomed out, it really bottomed like 2s.
2's pretty rough.
2's very poor.
On the wrong day, if you catch me in a bad mood, I could probably give No Way Home a 2. I find that movie pretty aggravating.
Yeah.
But for the performances in it, Willem Dafoe is back.
That's true.
Yeah, there's enough in there that I enjoy. But then I think of like all the Doctor Strange stuff and all that.
Yeah, that's really clunky. But like I said, that I think 3 is about right, and 2.1 is like, oh, good, you tied up the Andrew Garfield stuff, and then there's 1 point for tying up Maguire stuff. So through sheer emotion, like that stuff elevates that film, but it also elevates The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for me, because I know that there's sort of a trilogy now, and now that I've gone back and seeing it in a very different context to what people would have seen at the time.
Yeah.
But so that's really interesting. Our scores, our averages look the same, but our scores don't line up much at all in this one.
It's interesting. Yeah, we don't agree necessarily. I think the movies that we agree are great.
Yep.
are the obvious ones: Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and Into Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's really it.
But everything else we're a little bit split on.
Yeah. Yeah, we do line up with Amazing Spider-Man 1 because it is
It's-
a bit blandy McBland
It's a
in the
good
middle.
mediocre.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good mediocre. Yeah, so no, that's interesting. We've had more diverse,
It's good.
diverse views.
It makes the world go round.
That's right. I don't think there's anything there that I'd want to fundamentally change.
No.
And there's nothing there that I haven't done the thing where I try to make you go, "What?"
Yeah.
I haven't got that out of
Yeah,
you
you
this
haven't
time.
surprised me with any.
I
this
haven't
time,
given
but
you a 7 out of 10 for Alien 3 this time. So
Yeah. Which I think that's probably fair for Spider-Man movies. They're all pretty,
it's basically when they said, "Here's a good, relatively simple idea is fine," and as soon as Sony went, then the whole
let's
thing
make it do more.
falls on
Yeah.
its face, and
Yeah.
that's why you get the sort of bipolar
Yeah,
experience.
in each of those little sections, there is a real story of diminishing returns there. They start off great, and they can keep momentum for a little bit, and then Sony asks for too much.
Yep.
And things go bad.
Pretty much. Yeah, I don't care a great deal about the next couple of films, as in Homecoming 4 and the third animated film.
Yeah.
But I'll probably catch them eventually. I'm not
Yeah,
going to go
I'm
to the cinemas to see them.
I'll find out from somebody how much Marvel's in this new Spider-Man movie, and if it's like, people are saying like, oh, they're introducing the X-Men in this one, I'll be like, oh, cool. I don't want to see that.
No. I want to see that at some
unless
point.
Rogue's in it. If Rogue's in it.
I want to see it when I'm not paying money for it, so I can laugh at it. That's probably will be my attitude.
I don't know. I think it's just I've got Marvel fatigue, and I'm wary of getting into something that I'm not going to have the patience to stick around for. I felt that way about like Fantastic Four last year as well, where it's just like, oh, you're giving me so much homework.
Yeah, and there's going to be more of this stuff, and it's going to link to 5 other things.
Can't
That's
I just
exactly
watch
right.
a movie? Why are you giving me all this homework to do all the time?
That's why the young folk, they deserve that. Even though they might be hooked up to the machine of multiple connections to other things, they still deserve a good, solid, standalone franchise,
Well, I
and
think
they never got it.
I don't know. Maybe this is just wishful thinking. It does seem like less intellectual properties are trying to launch their own cinematic universes now. I think Nintendo is currently trying to do it with, I don't know, maybe it's going to be successful, maybe not. But like 10 years ago, when we were getting like Universal's Dark Universe. And
That's true. A lot of stuff is dropping off, and Warner Brothers is content with standalone Batman films and standalone Joker films and stuff like that.
So it does seem like people have realized that this is not easy to do, and it requires a large, I don't know, creative investment. Like Marvel are a little bit lazy and running on momentum now, but back in 2008, 2009, like all the way up to that first Avengers movie, they were taking a lot of big risks.
That's right. And then they reap the rewards for the next 5 or 6 years, and good on them. They deserve it. They did a good job, but no one else has been remotely close to that.
Nope.
No, that's right. So I guess we'll eventually do a Batman one. I'd love to talk X-Men one day. That'd be fun.
Oh man,
dissecting those corpses.
I'm sure when I introduced you to the Strike Rate game, I said X-Men is maybe the biggest franchise with like many entries that has the lowest strike rate.
I would be interested to see that. So close to a 6 here. Spider-Man pretty good.
Spider-Man's good. I think that's better than Superman, better than Alien for me.
Yeah, that is by a small margin, but yes, absolutely.
Maybe better than Predator. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I think it might be the highest. I'll have to go back and check them.
Yeah,
so
it sounds right to me. I'd believe it.
Pretty good. All right. Well, thank you once again, Nate, for your time.
It is always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.